Hi guys, my name is Maico Arts. We are here in Skaerbaek in Denmark for the 13th edition of Skaerbaek Fan Weekend. This time I think I will take you clockwise over the circuit instead of counterclockwise following the balls. Let's do it the other way around this time. So, okay, my ball coulter is here again. I still need to modify it. It's not perfect yet. How did you reach today? It says about 40,000. Wow, nice number, nice number. Nah, that's too high. I think that's an illegal one. Must be. No, even I must think about it. The small ones, yeah, there are a lot of them which we actually have seen, of course, before. The counter from Philo, the cylinder one with the old square pistons. Small sweeper, ball pump, a small wheel, a larger ball pump, and then my black NXT. I noticed today a lot of people actually don't know the black NXT. For me it's the obvious one, but actually there are also golden NXTs. You knew that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you guys know about everything. Then we have three colorful modules of one of our quite recent starter builders from Germany. He used a chain from the 70s as in one of his modules. And the other one to your left, John, is a ball pump using a tire actually to get him up. So also another technique to create a ball pump. Then we find 5 modules using a servo motor. The servo motor, as we know, can only make 90 degrees to the left or to the right. And by using a switch, we can kind of force the servo motor to do so. And of course, we are not going to do that by hand. We use a motor to move the switches.
Everything is motorized in the GBC.
Preferably, yes. Either motorized or automated. Then we have a quite a yellow streak of about, what is it, 5-6 meters?
Just a couple that we can walk by here, I think.
Well, yeah, we don't have to follow them all. That would be quite time consuming.
But yeah, quite a few. How many are modules are just in this section right here?
A lot. Almost 200.
And were these kind of an event kit for the show, or what prompted making all of these?
Yeah, it started as a method to use only one motor for more than one module and create a kind of a zigzag idea. You can, with this module, you can use one XL motor to drive 10 pieces. Mm-hmm. If you look here, John, in the middle, then you see a line of motors. And next to the motor unit, there's a driving unit. And they both drive, in this case, 6. Yesterday afternoon we had 10 on one motor. It's very well doable. We will see more of this example actually. Mm-hmm. If we would have 150 of those yellow ones, well, that would shatter the record, and it would be a hard time for other people to beat the record again. So let's keep it doable a little bit. So we upped the record for the people who like numbers to 233 modules. And yes, because of that, we have a few spare.
Once we exit the massive section there?
Yeah, indeed. Last year we got the bucket wheel excavator from our Lego Technic friends. People asked how long it took before Lego asked actually before how long it would take to create a module out of it. Well, one of our builders had it last year at Skaerbaek, and so it took him a month. Actually, the device is, of course, a perfect example of how to move a lot of stuff. So also a nice idea to move a lot of bolts. In this case, I used the gear. Actually, it is a gear to create one of Philo's first modules using the Hailfire wheels, creating an internal ring which takes up the bolts. Sometimes you had a lot of parts, like a motor in the Lego Technic model to create a 6 or 8 cylinder engine in your car. And as a Lego Technic collector, I do have a lot of that stuff. But in this case, there are 60 in it, and I hardly can see I've used them. But one of the fun things is, if you look in length with it, you see what I see?
Yeah.
So the cylinders are actually kind of making a kind of a circular movement somehow.
They're moving it from one spot to another.
Exactly. One of the issues, of course, with lifting modules is the piston has to move between the two sides, the two walls. If you make a piston of 2 wide and you have the walls a distance of 2, they leave their marks. And this was one. This is actually my first attempt to try to give it less resistance and creating less marks. It will make marks anyway because everything is moving. But also not only marks but also friction, and that's a bigger issue.
And next to that, it looks like we have a very fast-moving conveyor belt here.
It's one of those things where Steve Hassenplug used to say those rubber tracks are useless. Just to put it in a few words. Well, of course, everything is useful, and in this case, one of our Belgian builders created 2 fast-running tracks. And it does the job quite well, for as long as it keeps balls fed. What he didn't do very well was things like this. So I think I need to help him out here to tell him this is a bad idea. Then we got a few modules from our Danish builder. In this case, we also let's use a few useless parts for a lot of people.
Making a quick fix over there.
Yeah, cleaning up a little bit. Because this module lacks a moving mechanism in the inbox. And you have to go from 8 wide to 2 wide in this case. And if you don't do anything about it, you see it will quickly fill up. Let's slow this one a little bit down. Stopping is probably better. And we find another Akiyuki, by the way. Did you see in one of the first corners? There's one.
I did notice that.
Yeah, that's my still to rebuild Akiyuki. A lot of parts are actually wearing out quite quickly on the module. Last time I picked out a gray pin, and it wasn't looking like a pin anymore. It had the kind of the look of a how do you call that? A sand clock. You will probably know what I mean if I don't use the right word. Do you know what snap is? Yeah,
yes.
You know that, of course.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, one of my Dutch colleagues has built a snap module. Oh, we need to go one step to the left in this case. I built a lot of modules in using one motor to drive several. This is a module from a Danish builder. My Dutch colleague, instead of using 2 motors, he created a mechanism to use one motor and driving both modules. And then we go to the right side of the snap module, and then I think you will recognize this one. It's a very colorful build of your workshop module of Chicago.
The Brickworld Chicago workshop module.
Exactly, thank you. And in this case, it's not driven by 7 or 8 motors. How many are there? No, 7. So that's not 7 motors. But in this case, it's there are 1 XL motor driving all of them. But actually, quite a simple drivetrain. And that's the module developed by a guy in Spain, and that one looks familiar too. It's mine. It's a Philo. I don't know who created this one with the those funny metal blue. No, not metal blue. Pearlite grey parts. You find a lot of them in Spy Botics. One of the models. A snap one. An Akiyuki, the bucket Akiyuki. It says it's yeah, we all know Akiyuki's models from that point of view. They are marvelous. Every time you watch them, they look beautiful, even if you are ugly. And as you are almost never ugly,
you don't have to worry about it.
No. A conveyor continuing to a ring, and one of my old stackable module. That's my first design of the stackable module. It had some design flaws, but on its own it functions actually quite well. Then we have a conversion of Philos, and then another one, Duplo Education. Lego Duplo does have Technic parts, but you only find them in education sets. So you have to connect the motor to it. Yeah, okay, we use a power function motor. And the easiest way to convert those two different kind of mechanics is an elastic band. This one I haven't seen that often in real life. I've seen the movies of it. We're using those helmets.
That's such a cool technique. They're using the helmets to capture the balls like that.
Yeah, indeed. And one of our Swedish builders has recreated the model. It creates a little bit of spillage, as you can see. But he has promised me he will fix that.
But I'm not Swedish, I'm Norwegian.
I'm very sorry. Ooh, I made a big mistake here. I said it was a Swedish guy. He's not. He's Norwegian. My apologies to you, Sigurd.
It's okay.
Now we are coming to one of the first modules I've actually built. And built because of my wife kind of forced me into it. Remember the story I told you in Portugal?
Yeah. So some very different looking parts there than what you normally see.
Exactly, it's called Lego Clickets. My wife has plenty of that stuff, and as I said, she made me start grey ball contraption, and never got stopped anyway.
This one has a bit of dust on it, maybe a little wear and tear.
I think both, not only wear and tear, but also actually dust, because it's standing on the tables all day long. A lot of modules gather dust, and most people do events 4, 5, 6 times a year, and I know you two do a lot more, and actually so do I. So on events, it's a lot of people who build marks try to cover them with plastic so they won't get dirty or too much dirt, then catch too much dust. Well, I don't do that, so yeah, they get dirty. That happens. Here are some models of a Danish builder, a female builder actually. I know she also has a Lego Friends model using the slides from Lego Friends. It's not here because it has the trouble, it spills a lot of balls. And that's what we didn't want to have.
That just doesn't work in the GBC.
No, it's of course it works, but it's not fun for us to work with. Especially if you wanna try to get an official number like this, you want reliable modules, as reliable as possible. And I make a movie following the blue ball, and you don't want to fall out of a circuit, and that's gonna happen. Yeah, that's gonna happen in such cases. and that would be a pity. The Conveyors, I think from a Danish guy, but I'm not sure. I think we will recognize the parts from the tower crane. I used to build 2 modules from one single set. That's these 2 yellow ones. And the 3rd yellow one is built from just a bunch of Technic parts. Someone gave me 4 bags of Technic parts. There is not even one black pin in it. You can guess what the challenge was, to get everything connected without any. Luckily there were plenty of those blue 3 long pins and the long pins with bush, so that helps a lot. Small one with a lot of beams was a workshop module I've done in France. A lifting module, and then we find an axle force wheel. And now we have arrived at my stackable tower.
The high rise is here.
The high rise, yes. I don't know if you have noticed, but previous times the tower was running clockwise. Now it's running counterclockwise. I made a small change to the connecting parts, and of course the motors which are in the base over here, and that made it possible to connect the modules a little bit closer to each other, because the mechanism is more on the right side of the module, so the exit also is more on the right side of the module. Problem is, if you're going counterclockwise, the balls come out on the right side, so very easy roll over the barrier and tip out of the module instead of going to the next one. Another series of one of my servo motors. And then we find the motors of one of our Italian friends. That's one of the big things here in Skaerbaek. There are so many people from so many different nationalities.
Yeah, very different countries coming from all over the place.
Yeah, really all over the place. They come worldwide. North America, South America, Europe, of course, Asia, Oceania. So they come from everywhere. Maybe you might actually know this one because it's a very old one. It's an Italian guy who designed this with a spring down there. I kind of like that kind of mechanisms. Now I've got a good look at it, and I might actually try to make something like that too.
So like the catapult type of thing there.
Yeah, exactly. I've built me a cannon once. It shot 6 meters, but you never knew where the balls were. So I made a barrel attached to it. So I had a little bit of influence. The red conveyor of kind of a steering part, or it is a connector in red. They tend to be very scarce, very rare. I don't know, I got plenty of them. And I need to intervene a little bit. You can stay inside.
Another backup here.
Yeah, that happens. Because if the balls get stuck down the conveyor belt, that's always a challenge. Conveyor belts don't like that, and next your gears are going to break down. And then you need new gears. That's what makes it sometimes expensive. Well, not the gears, the motors, they die too. Because if you are blocking the motor, they can handle it a little bit. Like a kid uses the motor in Lego Technic models, it will be on and oops, it blocks and it will be switched off. We are not looking all day at this specific, so if this one blocks, it might take maybe a couple of minutes before we see it, because the circuits get larger and larger every time. And Well, the motor does not like that at the end. It will break down. So that would be a pity. So I go back to the inside again. And now we can actually see the real purpose of the bridge.
So much head clearance here, plenty of room.
Yeah. That's actually needed. We have seen our Norwegian friend Sigurd. He's at least one head taller than I am, so he must also be able to cross the bridge safely. So
there you go. So we're back at the bridge here, and I think that completes the chain.
Yeah,
so do you know how many builders in total were involved with this GBC?
actually, quite a lot. We have seen the massive number of workshop module, and there are several people been helping us out in building them. They came here, and we knew there were for 150 modules part available, and that they had to be built. So a lot of people have assisted us in there. I think Team GBC this time is about, let me give it a quick count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 10, 11 persons. So that's quite a nice team.
Yeah, always a lot of people involved keeping this whole thing running and everything. So, yeah, very impressive here.
At these kind of moments, I cannot assist, of course. Just a few quick things. That's all I can do. So everyone else must also maintain my modules for as that is necessary. Also, my modules are, of course, also not perfect.
Exactly. So there's always more work to be done. Well. Thanks for taking the time to show us through the whole thing here.
You're
I think it's
welcome.
another great layout, and thanks for bringing it to Skaerbaek.
Yeah, of course. It's one of the main events we Europeans have to go to, we believe.